Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of CineMarks with Paul London. My camera is a little bit different today. My computer decided to die, so I'm going to need to take it to the shop and get it repaired.
Technical difficulties. They're gonna be like, "Sir, this is a laptop, right? We can't open it. It's stuck together. Don't know what you did to it."
Do you know what's one of my favorite scenes from a movie?
From
Um,
any
um,
from a movie, not this movie that we're gonna talk about.
oh well, I mean, there's many clips from this movie, but have you seen the original Zoolander?
Only the sequel. No, I'm just kidding. I wish I had never seen the sequel. Yeah, I love Zoolander.
Same here.
I like to
So
say the
doesn't
original Zoolander, as if there's like a remake out there.
yeah.
There probably
But
is.
Ben Stiller's wife, Christine. Is it Christine Brinkley?
Christine Taylor.
Christine Taylor, my mistake. Who's Christine Brinkley?
I think she was like a supermodel back in the 80s. Christy, I think it was Christy Brinkley.
Right, okay. Well, anyway, Christine Taylor, she says to like Owen Wilson's character, Hansel, she says, the files is in the computer, and he's looking in the computer. And then, like, you see him a few minutes later, we've got your ass now. And he gets the computer, he chucks it over the ledge, smashes it up.
Yeah. That's probably something I would do. I was just watching. Yeah. She has a show with David Lasher, I think is his name. They're both from Hey Dude, the guy who played Ted, and she obviously played Melody. But they have a good like '90s kind of pop culture podcast. And I was just watching this one that they had with Corey Feldman, and it's too funny because you could see him like getting mad. Yeah, it's really good. Shout out to Jim and Them podcast, by the way, because that is some funny. It's just it's pretty funny. So it's funny you mentioned that. But no, on to the topic today. What we will be talking about, regardless of laptop issues, technical difficulties. I had the pleasure a couple weeks ago of seeing a film that isn't getting a lot of release. I mean, it's in a limited release. Who knows if it's playing in your town? I don't believe it's streaming at the moment, but it's a continuation, sort of remake of one of my absolute favorite films from the 80s, which I shared with you, James, and you seem to like it enough that we're now going to talk about it. But see, the kids today, as they say, they really, the cinema options are, it's rough. It's like a skeleton, you know what I mean? But in the 80s, in the 70s and 80s, you had like a fully fleshed thing, and the cinema was just it had such a magical charm to it, whether it was because it was mostly practical or because the effects were really early stages, and but with that being said, I think everyone has seen a film that was likely produced, maybe directed by Roger Corman. He made over 500 movies, and he was kind of the king of cult. And so he made a deal with Argentina, this Argentinian film company. I believe it was like Ares Cinematographique or something along those lines. And it varies, but he made a deal with Argentinian film company basically to shoot anywhere from 8 to 10 films in Argentina, and most of those were these sword and sorcery films. And the first one was Deathstalker, and that's the movie I'm talking about. They did a movie that's called Deathstalker. Steve Kostansky, who directed and created Psycho Gorman, great film. Him and Daniel Bernhardt, he's the new Deathstalker. And and it's called Deathstalker, this new film, and it's fantastic. It's one of the best films I've ever seen. It's so fun.
Really?
And oh, it's honestly one of the best films I've ever seen. It's just so, it doesn't take itself seriously. And that's the thing. I was worried. I was like, because Deathstalker 1, the first Deathstalker, that was the first film in this deal, it takes itself very serious.
It
And the
does.
lead actor who plays Deathstalker, I think it's like Rick Hill, just kind of stiff and wooden. He reminded me a lot of, was it Brackus or something? Well, there was like that German wrestler that I think WWF tried to bring in
Yeah,
at one
Brackers, yeah.
time. ECW. Yeah, he was just so no personality. It was so. Then later, I stumbled upon Deathstalker 2, which is the complete opposite. It's kind of akin to Texas Chainsaw 2 compared to the original, you know.
I see what you mean, yeah.
And so I was concerned, thinking, oh, is Deathstalker, this newer one, is it I mean, obviously it can't call itself Deathstalker 2, but it's so much more like Deathstalker 2 than anything, and that works in its favor, because Deathstalker 2, which is what we're going to talk about here shortly, is, to me, one of the most entertaining, fun, ridiculous, stupid in the best way movies out there. I mean, it's a real gem. And it was directed by Jim Wynorski, who a lot of you might know from a bunch of just schlocky nonsense. But he's done some good stuff too. One of those, which I think is his best picture, would be Chopping Mall.
Yes.
And so that's a Roger Corman movie. So he was familiar with Wynorski. And so what we're going to talk about, Deathstalker 2, that's the last of these Argentinian kind of sword and sorcery movies that he made. Another one to note is Barbarian Queen, which I think they did make a sequel. They might have made a third. I think they've made 4 Deathstalkers. Deathstalker 2, I believe, was the last one, I think, shot in Argentina, though. But Barbarian Queen was a bit of a spin-off from the original Deathstalker, and that's where the world was really kind of, I wouldn't say introduced, but that was the big starring vehicle for Lana Clarkson as Barbarian Queen. And so anyways, Wynorski got hired to do Deathstalker 2 right off the heels of Chopping Mall. And they went to Argentina and basically rewrote the script because it was so bad. It was so serious and bad. And so one of the actors he plucked that he became friends with, and he was friends with from Chopping Mall, John Turleski, that's who really took over and helped, along with Wynorski, turn this film at least around. Because I think part 3, Rick Hill comes back, and it's just like, what are y'all doing? You know?
Yeah, I haven't seen 3 or 4, so I don't know what they're like.
And that's why I'm like, no, John Turleski, I'm not doing it. And if you remember Chopping Mall, he's one of the first to get roboted. Yeah. It's such a misleading cover too, because it's like this sleek, metallic, feminine, like cyborg robot hand with a bag, and it's got like body parts coming out of it. And I'm like, there is no sleek robot, nothing. It's very, Johnny Five. And but anyways, yeah. So this is a complete departure from Deathstalker, and I'm glad that the remake really leans into the humor, because I mean, you have like Patton Oswalt is the voice of kind of this Gwildor-like sidekick. As far as I know, they shot this one in the Vancouver area, but if you seek out these Argentinian sword and sorcery films, another one that was an absolute favorite of mine, probably my absolute favorite, one of my absolute as a kid, Wizards of the Lost Kingdom.
Never seen
this was one. It's called Wizards of the Lost Kingdom, and something that Corman would do, something that was a trait of Corman's, was that he would recycle a bunch of footage from his other movies. And so like Wizards of the Lost Kingdom, for example, so much of the footage was just unusable because it was just nonsense. And so when it got whittled down, it was like 58 minutes long. And so Corman was like, go back and get footage for, like, there's scenes from the first Deathstalker and Wizards of the Lost Kingdom that just kind of they beefed it up like another like 20 minutes just with footage from like just stock, just it's so ridiculous. And apparently Corman didn't really have a big sense of humor, which is weird because he started seeing the dailies coming out of Argentina where they're rewriting this movie as they go along. They're like basically writing and shooting as they go along and rewriting it. And he didn't get the humor so much. And he wanted there to be a lot more like, you know, female anatomy, a lot of more nudity, and so they had to sprinkle that stuff in because that was like a Corman staple as well. But yeah, this is like a real time capsule. This 80s period, especially for Corman. But yeah, you see a lot of the people pop up in a lot of his movies, and this film is just one that stands on its own. I think if anyone has the opportunity to see Deathstalker 2, they definitely need to. What was your first impression when you started watching Deathstalker 2?
Yeah,
Because I know you love that opening.
well, I watched number one first. I forgot if no, I don't know if you told me or if I just discovered it.
I thought I had mentioned it. I might not have. You might have just stumbled upon it, which it'll do that to you.
Well,
It's
I
that
think the thing that stands out is, and I'm sorry everyone, if I had my laptop, I could bring up the images, but I'm on my phone tonight. But the first thing that stood out was like the cover art, like, you know, the poster or whatever you want to call it, like the video art cover, whatever you want to call it. It reminds me of the old Sega games I used to play, like Golden Axe and like video games like that. And you know, there's Conan the Barbarian inspirations, and that was the thing that stood out to me. And obviously the name Deathstalker. I'm like, cool, this looks awesome. And like I said, I watched the first one. I thought it was fine, but like you said, it does take itself real serious. But
I feel I recommended the second one because I'm like, if you saw the first one and I didn't say anything, I don't know what would have motivated
I
you.
think you recommended number two. I think I said to you, I watched the first one, and I'm pretty sure you said to me, no. He said number two is better, which is unusual for a sequel, by the way. Like, there's not many sequel. There is some sequels, but there's not many that tops the original. And I remember finding it odd, and just like there was a complete tonal shift, like the way the film is, but for good reasons. Does not take itself serious. John Turleski is brilliant in it. Gabrielle Monique, she plays a great babyface and heel, which we'll get to that. And you've got them little pig monsters.
They wrote two characters for her because they didn't have enough people that spoke English, and they needed more like another character, so they just doubled, like made her another character. She has like an evil twin, so they can just beef up their movie a little bit more. That's so.
She plays them well though, because like we spoke about this off camera. Like when she's like, say, a baby face, you know, I wouldn't say she's naive because she knows what she's doing. Like she's controlling Deathstalker, like telling him right this way, that way, and that. But she's like very, very mousy looking. But when she's like all glammed up as a, you know, a witch or clone, whatever she is, she's a clone essentially. Like. Yeah. She acts completely different to when she is, like I say, a babyface. So, so I was impressed with her, and like I think she's only ever done like small bit pieces and other parts. Like I think she was in Bachelor Party where she played, I guess, a hooker. But
apparently, this is her favorite filming experience ever.
I would say it's probably her biggest role. Her most time on screen, I would say.
Yeah, and she's not. I mean, she's very serviceable in the part. Tony Naples plays, I think, Sultana, who's like the evil queen. We got John Lazar playing the evil wizard. And apparently
Jarek, I think he's called.
Yeah, Jarek, that's right.
Jarek, that's it. He was quite good.
He was really good. He was also in Valley of the Forbidden Dolls, maybe, I think, or something. But he was also in Super Vixens, If anyone's seen Super Vixens, that's a classic from the 70s, I believe. But my theory is that John Lazar was used as inspiration for the evil wizard Lazar in Your Highness, because I know David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, they referenced Deathstalker and the Deathstalker films as inspiration for when they made Your Highness. So shout out to John Lazar. Terlesky, though, I saw was also, I think at this time he was dating Monique Gabriel, but he had also dated in the past Tony Naples.
Right.
So it was kind of, what, hey, it's like, it's
and
me again.
Didn't he date, like, I think you mentioned, didn't he date, like, the, let's say, the Amazon leader?
He might have. I might have gotten her confused with
Tony Naples. Sultana.
Yeah, I might have. But I know he didn't date Queen Kong.
Right. Okay.
Because she's also featured heavily in this film in one absurd scene. So
they've got an actual wrestling ring, which I find amazing.
So we have this princess, and she's captured by this evil wizard and his sorceress, and she escapes and becomes a seer. Like, she disguises herself as a seer, and he ends up making a clone of her. And she seeks out the help of Deathstalker, who's basically Robin Hood, but not to give to the poor. Like, there's this really funny line in there where early on, where she's like, so you, because he goes, oh, I basically just steal from the rich. And she's like, oh, so you steal from the rich and give to the poor? And he's like, nope, I pretty much just keep it. He's so confident in his greed, and just kind of, nope, it's pretty much all about me. And he's just got so much charisma in this role too. I haven't seen a lot of other Terlesky movies. He did like a few kind of like thrillers and stuff going on later into the 90s, and then became a director about 10 years later. I think Wynorski actually kind of mentored him, because they did a movie called Pandora Project, which I believe is Terlesky's first film directing, but it looks to be a co-directing thing with Wynorski. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was kind of, him directing it, but having Wynorski kind of help him here and there. But yeah, he's a big time. Well, I don't know if I say big time, but he is a very successful TV director, and has been since, probably early 2000. So Terlesky's still working heavily. If you look up through even his IMDb, he's directed. Man, he directed at least 26 episodes of Castle.
Wow.
And everything else he had directed, I think he did 11 episodes of the James Spader show that he did. I'm trying to remember, not House of Cards.
Boston Legal?
No. It's more recent, where he's got the bowler hat and.
The Blacklist, is it?
Yeah, Blacklist. He did 11 episodes of that. He's done everything from like NCIS, Boston Legal. I mean, he's like all over the place as a TV director.
He's done great.
There's a lot of these real TV dramas. The Rookie. Yeah, so still working, and I loved seeing that, because he's super talented.
Because that's the thing we've spoken about. A lot of obviously he's done well, but we've spoken about, say, a lot of, say, martial art movies from the 80s, or even horror movies from the 80s, and a lot of these like young actors and actresses, they'll have that one movie and then kind of disappeared. I mean, funny enough, I was watching a review, and I'll tell you the name of the video the channel, because I think he's great. It's called Deck of Shadow, and he reviews movies. He's been doing it for years, and he was doing Friday the 13th.
Darker Shadow or Darkest Shadow?
Decker Shadow.
Decker.
Yeah, he's good. Decker Shadow.
D-E-K-E-R. Okay, Decker Shadow. Interesting name.
But he was on about Friday the 13th Part 3, and one of my favourite characters, probably from the whole series, is Shelley.
I'm a big fan of Shelley. I've met Larry Zerner
Really?
before. He's a big entertainment lawyer now, and he's also, well, I think he's actually more of an agent now. He's one or the other. Maybe I'm confusing him. Oh shit! Maybe I'm confusing him with Chunk from the Goonies, who is a big entertainment lawyer. Larry Zerner might just be an agent, but he might also be an entertainment lawyer. But I met him not too long ago, and interesting guy.
Yeah,
I love Chunk.
Well, to say I think that was like he only ever done like 6 or 7 like starring roles, like acting roles, and I thought he was like probably one of the best characters and actors from the whole series.
Well, they plucked
like
him right off of the UCLA campus. They plucked him right off of the UCLA campus. Like they just like found him. Like so, I think Friday 13th 3. That's definitely, I believe that's his first movie, and it's interesting too because that character Shelley, just diverting to Friday 13th for a moment. The really neat thing about that character is that he's basically responsible for Jason's hockey mask. That's where Jason gets the hockey mask from.
Fair enough. Because quick tangent. So my middle boy Sam for Halloween this year is going as Jason Voorhees, and he's watched bits and pieces of the films. I have to be careful what I let him watch because he's 9. But he said to me, "It's like, why is Jason wear a hockey mask?" I said, "Well, he didn't to begin with." He went, "What?" I said, "Well, his mother was the killer in the first one." So the second one, he was wearing a bag over his head. He went, "A bag?" I went, "Yeah." He said, "Well, how did he get the hockey mask?" I said, "Well, this didn't happen." "Why does he wear the hockey mask?" I said, "Well, because he's ugly." He's self-conscious about the way he looks.
Have him do the bag head this year, and then like some suspenders, some overalls. It'll be a lot easier. And then next year he can morph to the hockey mask thing. I read an interview where I believe the hockey mask came. I can't remember the prop master, but it was basically. I could be mistaken, but I believe he had like a Detroit Red Wings hockey helmet because he was a big hockey fan.
That's right.
And they ended up kind of modifying it for part 3, or that's where they got the basis for the idea. So that was pretty interesting there. But with Deathstalker 2, we have a giant broadsword. At least that's what you see in the cover art. Now, the cover art, going back to that real quick, the reason it's so the reason it just is, it's captivating, it captures your attention. You might notice similarities in the artwork to Deathstalker 2 and National Lampoon's European Vacation.
Yep.
And the reason is because it's the exact same artist, the legendary Boris Vallejo. And if anyone looks up Boris Vallejo, that's legendary artist for this kind of thing. I think that's another thing that films today don't really capitalize on is these kind of artists. I'm not saying they're not out there, or it's probably a money thing. I'm not really sure, but it seems like a lot of the cover art for films now are just kind of.
It just seems to be. I mean, a lot of it I blame on Marvel, but a lot of the like posters today is just giant heads shaped like a mountain. Does that make sense? You got this character, that character, that character, character over there, character flying over there. That's what you see all the time.
Yeah, and and cover art that could be an episode in itself, because you're thinking about, when Scream came out, how many films started to utilize that same cover art with all the characters kind of cascading in the front, or just kind of placed around the border.
Scream, Faculty, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Oh,
I mean, it was all
yeah,
written by Kevin Williamson, so that's probably why.
yeah. What was the other one with Jared Leto?
Oh, Urban Legend. We actually watched that the other
Urban
night.
Legend. Yeah, that's right. Urban Legend. Back
Not
when he
bad.
tried. But Deathstalker 2, this movie is just, it's so fun. I love it. I love it so much. If I had to make one stink about it. So throughout the movie, they're on this adventure and they stumble upon this group of Amazonian women and they hate men. It's like this early feminist movement thing, and it's this funny line where she's like, "You will be on trial. You will be put to trial for your crimes against womanhood," and because he's like this, um, not a playboy, but he's just, I don't know. I guess he's got this womanizing reputation. So his
Well,
sentence,
to be fair, earlier on, you do see him in the bar. He's got two women swooning
oh, that's
over him,
right.
so
No, you're
I
right.
think he's
Yeah,
a bit of a
that's right.
playboy.
That's right. And going back, and I'll go back to the bar scene in a minute. But so his punishment, he has to wrestle Gorga, or Gorgo, I believe. But they basically, Wynorski called up uh, Roger Corman. Is like, I need the biggest woman you can find, and so Roger Corman had a connection at Glow, and they sent down Queen Kong. And she's a big woman, big redheaded woman, and she flew down there, and I think she was down there like 3 days. Like, she flew down one day, shot her scenes all the next day, and then I think she might have been there a third day for something else, and then she was out. But then he was like, I also need a wrestling ring, and they found this ridiculously old wrestling ring. And so my only stink is that this scene, I feel, is a bit too long. It feels like it's a 10-minute wrestling
Yeah,
match. It's
it's like
long.
15 rounds.
It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And it's just Terleski, who I think could have made actually a really good wrestler. I made the joke to you last time that John Terleski, to me, reminds me of Midnight Rockers Shawn Michaels. That's kind of the look that he has. And is around the same time period, mid to late 80s. This was shot, I believe, in what, 88, 89,
About that,
or
yeah.
maybe 87? Might be
Late,
87.
yeah, late 80s, I would say.
But that scene for me is a bit too long, but it's really funny. And you see, Queen Kong at the end and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's sweet. They have a similar moment in the new Deathstalker where he
Right.
has to battle this, I don't want to give it away, but this big creature of sorts, and it's sweet. And I don't mean that like in a cool way. I mean that like in a loving way. Like, it's really sweet. I love it. Like, it's this movie will put you on an emotional roller coaster. This newer one, the one we're talking about, will as well, but it's more just a never, just a goof through the way. In that bar scene, and they have signs up where it's like, bar, like, do you remember what the signs were in the village? It was something ridiculous. It's like,
All weird names and stuff. I don't know the villages, but like,
even like New York City or something. I can't remember. It was something
yeah.
ridiculous. But he goes into this tavern and there's Deathstalker, and Lazar puts out Jarek puts out this bounty for Deathstalker, and there's this scene where they're introducing all the bounty hunters, and they're introducing them like wrestlers. It's like, hailing from the Bagatov Mountains.
They were all like Russian as well.
Yeah, and apparently they recruited all these actual professional wrestlers from Argentina, from this thing called or it was like Wrestling Federation of Argentina or something. There's actually professional wrestlers in this scene, and it's just funny how they introduced them with like hailing from And like from the depths of, I think one of them's from, it's so
What's
funny.
the dwarf one called? It was like Ivan the Terrible. No, did he? Was it something like he used to work for Ivan the Terrible? We recruited
There
him,
are
something like that.
there, yeah. There's the movie is, I love it. There's even, one of my favorite scenes is where there's a dwarf. I mean, whatever you want to call it, little person, midget, whatever. He's sneaking up on Deathstalker, and he goes to shoot him with like a bomb arrow, and ends up like blowing himself up. But with the music, which Chuck Serino, amazing kind of synth composer, who also did the music for Chopping Mall. But Chuck Serino, he's got this. It's like this.
Yeah,
It's like
every
a
2 seconds.
It's every 2 seconds, and then you hear an iteration of the theme, which is like dun 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 dun. Something that last time I was in Japan for Noah. Now this would have been like over 10 years ago. That was my theme song to The Ring. I brought it there, and I was like, "This is," and they loved it. Like a lot of the Japanese wrestlers would be in the hallways, like humming it, and they do a kind of a recover of it for this newer movie, and it's really badass and very invigorating when it kicks in. But the soundtrack is great by Chuck Serino.
Well, the best part when they play that song is what do you call it, when the dwarf's playing it beside Queen Evie on the lute.
Dual Tapes is on it. They love it. It's so yeah, because you got that little, like, what is it, like a lute or whatever, that little guitar.
Yeah.
Like, can't you play another tune or something? Like, don't you know another tune? It's like
he's all disappointed in himself as well.
Yeah. And then the evil queen or the evil princess. There's so many.
I think she's called Evie.
Evie, that's right. She's like eating the banana, and it's just, yeah. I mean, we don't want to give away most of this film, but we just highly recommend that y'all watch it. Try to watch the new Deathstalker if you get a chance. Was this on YouTube? Deathstalker 2?
It might be on YouTube. It's on Amazon over here in the UK.
Okay.
But I think it was on YouTube. I don't know if it still is. What would you say some of your favorite one-liners is? I mean, there's a one-liner pretty much at the start of the movie when Sultana, so this is after Deathstalker escapes, which I don't want to spoil it, but he escapes. And Sultana talks to her guards. I will have my revenge. A Deathstalker.
He sneaks in to steal a gem.
That's
and
right.
They go after him, and he escapes. This is all in the like prologue, and he escapes and jumps out the window down onto his horse. And she's like, and she looks right into camera. There's Tony Naples. She's like, "I will have my revenge." And Deathstalker 2. And then it's like Deathstalker 2. That was the gag I think that Corman hated the most, apparently, but he let it stay. It's great. It's so ridiculous. I'll have my revenge and Deathstalker 2.
I always found it funny, like during the whole movie, like Deathstalker, he turns down like what's the girl's name when she's like a good guy?
Oh, and she's
they just call it Seer. Yeah, they call it Seer. But like throughout the whole movie, he basically turns down her advances like throughout the whole movie, and like she's really into him. But like obviously it changed later on in the movie. But like the whole film, like he's just turning down on her advances. I found that so funny.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, there's a lot of sexual innuendo, like especially when he's like with the evil version of her, and she's like, "I could eat you, or I'm gonna eat." Or what did she say? Something like, "I could lick you," or "I could eat. I want to eat you up." And he's like, "Bones and everything, huh?" It's in the trailer.
But well, it makes me laugh when he meets the Seer for the first time because she's getting beaten up by the guards.
Oh, that's right.
And he says something like,
"I don't mind."
What does he say? He's like, "Now, if a woman deserves a beating, I'm all for it."
he's like, He's like, nothing like. He's like, I don't mind a woman taking a good beating. She deserves it. It's so stupid. Yeah.
But by the way, I think we're raising awareness of Deathstalker. Polymathing, definitely going to watch this. Sounds entertaining. You will enjoy it.
It's
Trust us.
amazing. It's so good. The song will get stuck in your head for good reasons. And John Terlesky, I want to meet him someday. I want to work. I want him to direct me in something. That would be amazing. I would just actually he'd probably fire me because I would just keep asking him questions about that stuff too.
I reckon I could get Monique Gabrielle on the show. You know, where I've started following her on Instagram, and I think she's very open, like to talk to like say fans, like answer questions and stuff. So I reckon I could actually get her on one day.
Yeah, or even Wynorski. It would be an interesting interview for sure. You know, I think he seems to like he used to grant interviews. I don't really know, but maybe we can get him on the show as well. Unfortunately, Roger Corman passed away a couple of years ago, or I believe even last year. Was it 2024 maybe?
Oh, wow.
One of my favorite Roger Corman movies of all time was Munchies. It was a Gremlins ripoff. Well, it was. Oh, and talking about ripoffs, real quick. Roger Corman apparently was really upset he didn't get to produce Conan the Barbarian with Schwarzenegger and all that stuff. So that's basically why he created Deathstalker. Like that was his answer to Conan. It was like, well, we'll make our own.
I will say Deathstalker 2 is more entertaining than Conan the Barbarian. I'll say that now. Oh, yeah. I love Conan. Yeah. Deathstalker 2 is more entertaining.
Yeah, I agree. And it's great too because during the credits they show the outtakes.
Oh, that's the best bit.
They're really funny. They're really funny. And that was rare.
The best bit is when she's on the bed and obviously they're doing the sex scene and she's pulling the phases and she stops. Will you stop laughing?
Yeah, it's really funny. It just makes you love the film so much more. Seeing all the outtakes.
One of my favorite bits, though, I know we're jumping all over the place, and I said to you, this is towards the end of the film. She gives him like the crystal ball. He's like, I don't need it. He throws it, and in the background you can hear someone say, "Ow!"
Oh yeah,
it's so subtle. It's brilliant.
Apparently, that crystal ball, if you look at it, it's a doorknob.
That's how it is.
That's what they used, a doorknob. It's like gotta love it. But I do also recommend Munchies for those of you that are looking for a fun Gremlins kind of knockoff. And the interesting thing about Gremlins, or about Gremlins and Munchies, is that the editor who edited Gremlins was Tina Hirsch, and she got hired by Corman to direct Munchies, and so you see a lot of kind of similar gags with them laughing and all that stuff. More so the Gremlins type gags than you don't really get any Mogwai type stuff in here. But Munchies is a really silly movie. Don't watch any of the sequels because they're kind of crap. But Wynorski actually also did Ghoulies 4, where I think Ghoulies 4.
Funny enough, on Amazon over here, I've never seen Ghoulies, but I've seen that number 1 and 2 is on Amazon. Are they worth watching?
They're fantastic. Yeah,
I'll check them out tomorrow. I'll watch them tomorrow night.
John Carl Buechler did part 3, and it's either 3 or 4 that you see a young like Matthew Lillard in it, and there was somebody else that's in that film, but I definitely recommend Ghoulies, the first one. You'll see a really young. It might have been her first movie, Mariska Hargitay from SVU. She was the Mariska Hargitay. You know what I'm talking about? From like NCIS, SVU, or whatever.
Oh, right.
NYPD Blue or NYPD and whatever.
They're all big blur for me. The only one I distinctively remember is CSI Miami.
Oh, come on. David Caruso.
What's David Caruso? Is it Caruso, isn't it?
Yeah. But no, Ghoulies is awesome. Ghoulies also has Michael DeBarre. He's like the first face you see in the movie, and he was an awesome actor. He is an awesome. He's still alive, but he was also, I think he was the replacement, or he was the replacement singer, the fill-in singer for Robert Palmer on Power Station, which was like a
Right.
super group. And they did the big like kind of memorable hit song from
Like it hot.
Commando. Um, so lots of ties in, but yeah, I recommend Ghoulies. Ghoulies 2 is a lot of fun too. They shot that entire thing inside, which is weird, in like Rome, uh, because Empire Pictures, which this is before they became Full Moon, they were based in Rome at the studios there that became they were the Bonaventure Studios in Rome, and they basically brought in all these because it takes place in a carnival. The second one, it takes place in a carnival, and what you're thinking is like shot at an old carnival. They imported all these carnival rides, and it's all inside like a big sound stage. It's pretty impressive,
Yeah.
when you watch it. But two's a lot of fun. One takes itself kind of serious, but two's really cool. They're both, I like them. One has a very creepy clown scene in it, so if you like scary clown stuff, I definitely recommend Ghoulies, the first one.
Cool.
But,
well, everyone who's watching, thank you for joining us. We'll probably go another 5 minutes, so if everyone can hit the like button, that'd be great. And if you have seen Deathstalker 2, if you've got any questions, ask us about it. Please do so. If you've got any questions for Paul, please ask away. Before we get into any fan questions, though, Paul, yeah, I mean, what's some of your favourite scenes? Like, obviously, without spoiling too much, but we've spoke about some of the one-liners and stuff, but some of your favourite scenes just in general.
he's just got such a cavalier kind of charisma to him. He's like almost like Errol Flynn in certain scenes. He's like, ha ha, like when he shows up and they're like, Deathstalker, and he's like, that's my name. Like, you name, or like, backed by popular demand or something. And he's like, ha ha, and like comes. Yeah,
the part when he escapes the crypt and like he finds her and like she's surrounded by like zombies. I leave you for 10 minutes and this is what happens.
yeah. Like the fog machine goes out apparently. I do like that line too, which is really funny. She's like, Deathstalker, is that your first name or your last name? It's like every line has like a little button on it where it's just like like almost like a drum, like like, but it's just they do it in the music. So
there is the one scene that's Jarek and Sultana, and she tells Jarek about Deathstalker. I think he says to her, "What's his name?" And she goes, "Deathstalker," and he goes, "Deathstalker." And you look at her, and it's like she's about to bust out laughing while he plays Sultana, and they know how stupid it sounds.
Yeah, he's good. John Lazar is real good. Yeah, and going back to the new one, Daniel Bernhardt is awesome.
Yeah, I do like him.
He's in he appeared in John Wick. Do
you know why I like him in? And you're gonna laugh because you know how much. Oh, he's in Bloodsport too. I try not to remember that film.
4, I believe. Yeah, he's in 2, 3, and 4. He took over.
He was in role. So the Mortal Kombat, they had a TV series called Conquest.
Oh yeah, was he?
And he plays. No, he plays the Conquest is set about 100 years before the games, and he plays a guard called Zero. Well, he's like the comic relief sort of character, and he's actually good in that.
Oh, nice.
Good fight scenes in that series, actually. Shame only got one season.
That was Conquest?
Mortal Kombat Conquest, that was like 97, I believe. It was around about the time, and that, the God's greatest movie, Annihilation, came out. It was about the same time.
Oh, come on.
What?
I know you want to cover that someday, but oh man.
We will.
God dang it. Well, get out there, try to find the new Deathstalker if you get a chance. Definitely look for Deathstalker 2 on streaming, or physical media is much better. And let us know what you think, in the comments. And, keep independent cinema alive. We need a lot more Roger Cormans in the world. I think at one time Charles Band said he was competing in his head with Roger Corman, and to me they're still very different. They're kings of B cinema, but to me they're still very different. I mean, Carnosaur, that's another Roger Corman classic. So thank you everybody for checking us out, for tuning in and hanging out and listening about Deathstalker 2. We hope y'all love it and have fun with it as much as we do. And yeah, keep a rocking. We'll get James's Mortal Kombat Annihilation fetish out of the way soon enough.
One last question before we go, Paul. What do you call it?
No, I don't want to talk about Mortal
Kombat. It's a bit of a side topic because it's someone you've worked a lot with, and I thought I'll get your thoughts on it. So, AJ Styles has announced that he's going to be retiring next year. And obviously, you've worked with him quite a lot. Just wanted to hear your quick thoughts on it, and like, what's your thoughts on his career overall, and like his influence on wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, AJ is awesome. AJ, I imagine he's made enough money that he can make that decision, and I'm happy for him because I know he's like a real strong family man, and I've always loved being around him. The only time I didn't was the very first time I ever met him was backstage at WCW, and he was a part of this tag team called Air Raid.
That's right.
Another wrestling Air Paris, and I thought they were awesome. And I went up to like meet him, and he just kind of like walked right by me and just kind of jobbed me out. I had my hand out and everything. And so later when and then we flew to Japan together. The first time, was it the first time? Yeah, the first time we went to Japan, his first time and my first time, we flew over there together from Minneapolis. We met in Minneapolis and we flew over to Japan together because that's when I remember he was flabbergasted that I had gotten a business seat by accident. They had like overbooked the flight or something, so I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, what is this? I don't know where I'm sitting." He was like, "Business class? Come on, Paul, are you kidding? That's like first class, man." I'm like, and he had his GameCube with him and stuff. He's always been like a fun nerd like the rest of us. But yeah, I love AJ. I'm happy for him. He's definitely earned it. And I just hope they don't try to in a company like that. I never put it past them. When someone announces like that there's like an end point, that they're going to be out the door, or that they're going to be gone, like the company tries to like get one up on them or use them to, and I hope he's able to go out the way he wants to,
Well, last night he just became tag champs with Dragon Lee.
Oh, well, I guess he'll be hanging around for a while.
Yeah, he's got another year left. So, no, and there was a quick clip. There was a quick clip. He spoke to Chris Van Fleet, and it's something you've dealt with. He said how Billy Kidman was pissed off at him because he was hitting the shooting star presses. He said, even though I could hit him better. I was like, yeah, Paul had that experience.
The person who did that move the worst was the biggest, what do the kids say, gatekeeper. Yeah, that's...
Leave it at that.
Yeah, happy for him. Cool. But happier for you listeners and viewers to go check out Deathstalker and Deathstalker 2. I really put my name on this one. I'm really confident.
Cool. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. Hopefully, I can get my laptop fixed next time, but I don't think the camera's been too bad tonight and the audio. So, yeah, show your support. Please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please do so, and check out the archives, and also check out Territory Marks with Paul and Zach.
Zach,
Yeah, Zach. Zach Attack.
Zachary, Zach Attack.
Check out Territory Marks with Paul and Zach, where they talk about the territories. And if you've got 2 minutes, check out Vats Wrestling, where I've been putting out some interviews and some short clips. So please check that out. And yeah, Paul, I guess we'll see everyone again soon.
Very soon. Very soon. Na 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 na. We should have that playing out.